We are just 17 days away from the November election. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris will start the day at a Get Out the Vote event in Michigan, then head to Georgia for a rally in Atlanta. Meantime, former President Donald Trump will hold a campaign rally in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and time is ticking for both campaigns to secure those key swing states. To talk more about where the election stands right now is Ethan Porter, an associate professor of media, public affairs, and political science at the George Washington University. Good morning to you. We appreciate you being with us. Lots to talk about.
Good to be here.
According to the most recent CBS News poll, Harris is leading Trump by a very thin margin. Talk about how crucial these final days are in a race that is this tight.
Sure, these final days are what it all comes down to. The polls show that, it's basically impossible for the race to get any closer than it is. Early voting has started. People are going to the polls. They're casting their ballots. And research shows this is when a lot of people start paying attention. This is when they tune in and those few undecided voters make their decisions.
Talk about the importance of the economy in this election. We know for a lot of voters, they have said this is the deciding factor of which direction they plan to go. So talk about the impact that this is going to have.
Every election cycle, the story is basically the same. The economy matters more than anything else to voters. What does that mean this time? It's unclear, I would say, because the data is showing a more positive economy than voters' perceptions would have you believe. So what does that suggest? It suggests that it's going to be very close and that supporters of both parties are probably going to let their partisanship influence how they view the economy.
Mm-hmm. You know, voters have so much information, probably more information than they've ever had when it comes to an election. There's also a lot of misinformation out there right now. What are some of the biggest trends that you're seeing, challenges when it comes to that?
Misinformation is a major part of this election season. Both parties, supporters of both parties engage in misinformation, but let's be clear that the parties do take a different approach because their leaders take different approaches. Donald Trump is a unique figure in American history in terms of his willingness to endorse and disseminate misinformation. I do notice, though, that he sort of stepped back from doing that. If you recall, just a few months ago, we were talking about false claims regarding Haitian migrants. None of those are in wide circulation anymore, at least at Trump's behest. I think he's slowed down because he knows that ultimately undecided voters don't respond well to his lies.
Yeah, and a quick follow-up on that, too. I mean, what is some advice that you have for voters to kind of weed out and identify that misinformation?
Sure. Voters have a lot of power. We're all capable as citizens of figuring out what's true and what's not. There are three things you can do. The first is check the source. If it's not from a reputable source, disregard it, or at least, be really skeptical about it. The second thing to look for is evidence. If an egregious or outrageous claim is made, check out the evidence, see if there's any evidence to back it up. The third thing a voter can do is if you see a friend or relative spreading misinformation, don't be afraid to call them out and say, hey, that's not true. I know that's false.
Yeah, good advice there. Still so many undecided voters out there. What is the strategy in these final days to kind of sway voters who maybe still haven't made a decision?
Yeah, both campaigns this is where they put all the money is on the line, right? You'll see they've booked so many hundreds of millions of dollars worth of ads just to squeeze out a small advantage over their opponent. The hope that both campaigns have is that one ad will be slightly better than the other campaign's ad and that their message will be slightly more persuasive. It's going to come down to just, maybe 10 to 40,000 votes spread out across a few swing states. It's going to be really close, and ultimately it's going to come down to, do people like the message of one campaign a little better than they like the message of the other?
Yeah, certainly a lot to watch over the next couple of weeks. Ethan, we appreciate your insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.